For president, we stand for education, but
Heavenly Father, once again, we thank you for the day and all the many ways that you bless us. Lord, we ask you to give us wisdom as a council to take care of the citizens of West Orange and make the best decision for the city. I do want to pray for everybody that is employed by the city, everybody up here in this building, in the police department building and the fire department, Lord. Be with the policemen especially and all the things that they get into, Lord, traffic stops and whatever. And the firemen, of course, just be with them on every call. Watch over them like only you can. Help us have a really good meeting, Lord, and a really good week this week. That's my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor and protect this flag. I pledge allegiance to each Texas, one nation, under God, one and indivisible. Item B on our consent agenda, discussion and possible action on approval of the minutes for the December 12, 2022 council meeting.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of December 12th, 2022.
We have a motion to accept the minutes of December 12, 2022. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, time for our public comments. This time comments to be taken from the audience on any subject matter, whether or not that item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes for each speaker. If more than one person wishes to address the same subject, a spokesperson must be selected who will be recognized to represent the group. Your comments are appreciated. The Texas Open Meetings Act does not allow the council to discuss items not listed on the agenda. However, if possible, your questions may be answered with statement of policy, statement of fact, or it may be placed on a future agenda for attention by council. You also may be directed to the appropriate department head to address your questions or problems. Is there anybody who would like to make a public comment this time? Well, Richard, would you like to go ahead?
Yes, sir. I'm Richard Moselle. I live in West Orange. I think it's a very nice community. I'm a homeowner. I have a daughter that rents, and she's been renting in town. We brought them up from Bridge City after a Harvey flood to get them closer to us. So she's on disability, and so is her boyfriend. They live together. So they're on a fixed income. Well, I've experienced this since I've lived here twice with two separate landlords in this town. I noticed that a lot of these storms, when they come through these houses are bought up. And to me, it looks like they put Band-Aids on them and they rent them out to people that are on a fixed income. And they're disabled people. Like with my daughter, she is one, she has a disability she has trouble weighing out feelings. She had, when she was a little baby, her grandmother had opened a door. This was in the 70s before car seats. She had fell out and hit the ground. Well, instead of her head swelling out, it swelled in. So she's got damage. She's 40-some years old. She's like dealing with probably a 12-year-old, but she can take care of herself. She's not wheelchair. But anyway, she has dealt with two separate landlords. They live in a place, they've been living in it for 3.5 years. I know there is codes and stuff in this town that landlords have to go by. And I understand it's hard to keep up with them. But the thing is, this certain landlord, and I'm not headhunting here or nothing. I'm sticking up for a loved one, plus the ones that I know that are probably done by the same way by this guy. They intimidate him. My daughter is intimidated. When she has a problem, I go over there and I'm like, do you call the landlord? Oh no, don't call the landlord. He's got him convinced he can throw them out that day. And it's like, man, and when somebody goes after my loved one, that's a whole different story. Believe me, I'm not one to raise any kind of fuss, but to me, I think it's ridiculous. And I know that I know they're not the only ones that are being done like this. And it's sad. And me as not only a well, I consider myself her father, as a citizen, I think it's wrong to let somebody do this to people. The sad thing is they're on a fixed income. I'm not. So I know I'm not gonna get intimidated because I got a whole lot of avenues to go. My daughter don't. And it's a shame. And I went through a little thing during we had that cold over Christmas. Well, their pipes broke. They had water shoot right into their kitchen. They called me. I went over there. I said, y'all call the landlord? No. And you could tell by their faces. I'm like, hey, give me his number. I tried calling him. He wouldn't answer his phone. So I told my daughter's boyfriend, you know where he lives. So I drove over to his house. And it was towards the evening. I pulled up to his house. I knocked on his front door. Nobody answered. Well, he has a driveway that runs along his house. So I walked down the driveway, went to the back door and knocked. Nobody answered. Got back in my truck, started heading back to my daughter's house. I got a call. It was him. Hey, what's the problem? I explained to him what the problem was. He said, well, I'm having Christmas Eve dinner with my family. It's the holidays, blah, blah, blah. I said, that's all good and fine. Actually, before we went there, I helped him shut the water off so it would stop. But I knew it was going to get cold that night. We had to get that fixed and get the water so they could turn the water on and let it run. So no more pipes would burst. So he showed up. And he kind of put a Band-Aid on it, which I was good. And he told them, turn the water on. And that's what they did. Well, the next day, Christmas Day, another pipe broke in the bathroom. So I said, did y'all call the landlord? No. And they're scared of it. So I called the landlord. And I said, hey, look. Well, he said, well, he started rambling on, which I listened. I didn't interrupt. And he said, I told them what to do last night, which they did, let their water run, but they didn't listen to me, so they're gonna have to suffer. I'm like, well, there ain't nobody suffering, because it was gonna get colder that night. It was Christmas night, if y'all remember how cold it was gonna get. Said, no, there ain't nobody suffering. That guy snapped on me, boy. He started dropping the F-bomb, told me where to go, not to contact him no more. It was none of my business. He was with his family, leave him the F alone. I left it alone. I'm, like I said, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't get into that. I get into taking care of business. Confrontational don't get you nowhere. That's my opinion. But anyway, so Christmas Eve, or the day after Christmas, my daughter and her boyfriend were at my house. We were having dinner. Well, he called. Hey, where are y'all at? I'm at your house now. I can't get in. And they said, we'll be over. So who's going to bring you over? Well, Richard's going to bring you over. So he knew who I was. So I said, I'll bring you over there, get the truck. So we went over there and I told my daughter, she had a box to carry, and I said, I'll carry that box. Well, the guy was there. He was there with some other guy. They were going to fix it. But when I got out of the truck, the guy glanced at me, looked right down at the ground. And like I said, I wish he would have said something to me so we could have figured out why he talked to me like that. But he didn't, and I didn't even bring it up. I took the box up in the house and they went in and said everything they needed, blah, 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 blah. Well, they have lived in this house for 3.5 years. This guy has not supplied them with heat. There is not heat in this house. There's 110 electricity running to the, I call it a contractor shack, because that's pretty much what it is. But like I said, they're on a fixed income. They got to do what they got to do to live. So anyway, every year my wife and I buy them heaters. So they can say, well, this year, all of a sudden, he wants to get them. Well, actually, it was this month's rent. He said, take $60 out, go buy yourself a heater, and I'll just take it out of the rent. Guy don't give him no receipts or nothing. And like I said, I'm not looking to get them thrown out. I'm looking to get things fixed right. Matter of fact, I went to the water department because there's stagnant water all around this place. My brother-in-law come up for Thanksgiving, and he's worked for Amos Gas Company up Fort Worth for 40 years. He retired. Well, with gas companies, they train these guys what to smell for. Well, we were taking their stove, took it up. I've been supplying them with stoves, refrigerators. When they break down, that guy goes, yeah, you guys complain too much. They pay $600 a month for this place. But anyway, we were taking a stove, our old stove, we were going to get a new one. So when he got out of the truck, he said, man, that's raw sewage. I said, what? I can smell it. So today, when I went to pay my water bill, I asked them if they could go look into it. So they put a work order in, and they are. I just didn't know. I haven't got involved in this, and I don't know what routes to go. So I'm just kind of here trying to meet all the players, know who's who and what's what. And You know, I don't wanna go to somebody that ain't, you know, it ain't their department. I wanna go to the people, and I'm not trying to get, I don't wanna get nobody in trouble. But I'm telling you, I think there's a problem here in West Orange. I do believe it, because this ain't like this is my first rodeo, because I've seen it with another landlord over here. I've dealt with two of these guys in the last 9 years, and I know there's gotta be other people out there. They're, you know, they think they've got them convinced that they can come to that house that day and throw them out on the streets. They're scared. They're on a fixed income. Now, my daughter gets spent between the both of them. After they pay their bills and stuff, it leaves them maybe $100 to live on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I work for a railroad. I got good money. We try to help them out the best we can, but I can't sit there and pacify them because they're like dealing with children, you know, the way they are. You know, a child, you give them a little, but they want it all, you know, so you gotta kind of, you know, but like I said, they're good people that, you know, I don't know, I need to slow down a little bit because when that guy told me that they're gonna just have to suffer, come on, man, come on. Shouldn't nobody in this United States suffer, nobody. It's a shame what's going on now in the United States, it truly is. It breaks my heart, see people living in boxes and stuff, and we're sending all our money elsewhere, man. But like I said, that's a different, but thank you, thank you.
We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Richard.
I know most everybody here. I'm Robin Strother. I'm a plant manager at the Suez Water Technologies facility off of Williams Drive. Just wanted to communicate today that at the latter part of last year, they made the final announcement that our company was going to be purchased by Veolia, which they're both French-owned companies, both Suez and Veolia. So that purchase is now final. So we're going through the transition this year of rebranding, changing over names. So right now, I don't expect there to be very big changes in our business itself. It's pretty much business as usual. Similarly to when we were GE Best, when Suez came in, we pretty much changed the name on the front door and kept going. So I don't expect any big major changes, but you will start to see, you know, some people walking around in West Orange with Veolia instead of Suez shirts on. You'll start to see our nice shiny trailers with Veolia branding on them instead of Suez. And of course, on the front of the plant, you'll start to see Veolia signage there. So just want to let everybody know, we will be associated to the Veolia that's in Port Arthur that does handle the hazardous waste, but it doesn't change what we're doing here in West Orange. We're still going to be making water treatment chemicals, and we're not going to be bringing in any hazardous waste. Similarly, that a lot of people associate to the Veolia incinerator and Wink. So that's good news. Yep. Yeah. So that's usually about what people ask whenever they hear, you know, that somebody's going to become Veolia. So right now we're not seeing any big changes. We kind of expect it to be business as usual. So, but if there is anything really big come through, I'll probably come here and you know, let y'all know.
Thank you.
Just thank you. If anybody had any questions, you know, feel free to ask, or if y'all got my contact information.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, thank you. Oh, and I did want to say a shout out to volunteer fire department for some issues we had over the Christmas holiday due to the freeze. We had a few safety systems go off unintentionally because of some meters freezing up, and it started some of our sprinklers and some of our plants, and they responded very well. And we've got some corrective actions that were coming out of that, but our plant did do pretty well considering through the freeze compared to some of the other industries outside of our area. So, all right,
Thanks.
Thank you, Rob.
thank you.
All right, we'll go into our regular session. Discussion and possible action on ordinance number 475. An ordinance calling the general election to be held in the city of West Orange, Texas on May the 6th, 2023 to fill the office of mayor and 2 aldermen. Stating location of the polling place and designating the city of West Orange as 1 voting precinct. Making certain provisions related to the manner of voting in the conduct of the election. Describing the form of ballot to be used, providing that this ordinance shall constitute an order for such election and that proper notice thereof shall be given. The motion.
I'll mention that we accept, the ordinance 475 calling for the general election to be held in the city of West Orange on May 6, 2023, to fill the offices of mayor and 2 aldermen.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the ordinance number 475. Is there any discussion? Question?
I'd like to give a little bit of an explanation on this. This ordinance will be brought back up next month, to be amended. Since we're gonna be contracting with the county this month, they are in the process of finalizing where the polling places are gonna be. That should be finished by the end of this month. But the final day to call an election is like 3 days after our next council meeting, and I was worried that was a little bit too close. I'm gonna go ahead and at least get it called and have that much done. But we will have to amend the ordinance next month to include the polling places. Just to let you know, I was very surprised, I guess you'd say. I had been under the understanding that City Hall would be a polling place on election day. It will not. There are several polling places throughout the county. And the intent of the elections administrator is that once she finalizes her contract or agreement or whatever with the state, everyone in the city will be able to vote at any polling place within the county, anywhere. So that'll be something new. Hopefully it'll be good for our citizens. We won't have a polling place in town. That's the only thing. Early voting will be at the library, where you do your other early voting on the equipment that they've been using. So it's going to be different. Hopefully it will be good. Hopefully everybody will be pleased with it. Again, I'm disappointed that we're not going to have a polling place here, but I don't have any say on that. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
We're gonna try it this year and see how it works out. Right now, it looks like the polling places will be at the airport and Orange City Hall. I don't like that. If we're holding a citywide election, it ought to be, you come vote at City Hall, but we'll try it this year and see how things work out, and then, after that, we'll make another decision next year.
I've been the only entity in the county that didn't contract with the county for many years. And so, you know, we'll try something new.
So is there any more discussion? Any more questions? All right, I'll call for vote. All in favor of ordinance 275, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. Time for us to go into an executive session pursuant to section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code, personnel matters regarding deliberation on employment matter and Christian Garrett. That is 519.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, we're gonna have reports from the city and everybody,
We didn't have that on the agenda.
so we can't,
That's my fault.
all right. I just.
We'll call our regular session back to order, 5:28. 5:29. So our next item is discussion possible action arising from or related to the executive session. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we extend Patricia Garrett's request for medical leave until our next meeting, February 13th, 2023.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, now it's time for our announcements. Laney, did you have something you wanted to announce?
Yes, I did. There is a lady in she actually lives in the city of Orange, but she chose 3 animal shelters in the greater Orange area, and one of them was West Orange Animal Shelter. She has a photography business. Her name's Kimberly Manning. It's Kimberly Manning Images, and she donated 300 pounds of dog and cat food to, the West Orange Animal Shelter. And she hopes to, her plan is to do that on an annual basis. She did it at Christmas time this year. She said it was kind of hard to get that and she wished she could have gotten more. So she plans to make it a Valentine's Day. And so Valentine's 2024, she hopes to make another donation.
That is good. All right, period for, to file for place on May the 6th, 2023 general election ballot is January the 18th at 8 a.m. through February the 17th, 2023 at 5 p.m. Our next council meeting will be Monday, February the 13th at 5 p.m. City Hall closed in observance of President's Day, Monday, February the 20th. And the next item is to adjourn the meeting. Meeting adjourned.